But I was at such a low point that I was like, look, you need to do something. And so I show up to the counselor, and I remember what I said to him. This would have been, guys, by the way, just if you guys want to know how long ago this was 2 years ago that this story happened. I was talking to my counselor and I was like, you know, I feel like I've been through so much in my life. I've given up everything I had, and like, I was still happy. But for some reason, something as small as a breakup shattered my world. And I remember talking to him and I was just like, why did something so meaningless in like the grand scheme of things shake me to my core so much? Yeah, I was like, what, like I've been through hell. Like, I've been through a divorce, I gave up my family, like I had to say goodbye to everyone, all the feelings that I had for people. Like I you know, like I don't have a single like childhood photo, like I don't have memories from Lebanon. Like, I've given up everything, I've moved on. Like, why is my feelings for one girl putting me so down? And the guy was just like, you know, you have to understand, you've led a tough life, and granted, you're tough as nails for like not being in the shitters sooner, but you have to realize that as a person, there's only so much you can take before you break. And I remember he gave me a really easy analogy for it. He said, think of your endurance, like how much you can take, as a glass, right? And all the problems slowly fill into that glass, all right? And so basically, like, my glass was filled with my hardships from back home, my hardships at school at the time, literally everything else. And basically, my cup was like reaching capacity, like there was only so much I could take. And then this girl was probably something that just spilled over the cup. It just filled it up and it couldn't take anymore. And that's what my depression was like. For me, like, there was only so much I could push aside before I was just like, I just need to be sad for a bit. I just need to like calm down. And that taught me a lot about myself. I sorta realized as a person, I'm very positive and I'm very like energetic and excited when I'm happy. And I'm sure people who watch me know I don't get angry during games. Or at least, you know, like, nothing crazy. Like, I don't really let out a lot of negative emotions. So what ends up happening a lot of the time is I'll just hold on to these feelings until eventually my glass will overflow again, if that makes sense. That's me as a person. As far as well as I can understand myself as a person, that's what I can gather. I'm just that kind of person. I'm someone who sort of refuses to let out negative emotions because I feel like it doesn't positively impact the people around me. Whereas, you know, like, in the grand scheme of things, it's really important to let anger out sometimes. Because that's you just relieving some emotion. And if you keep bottling it up, eventually, well, my glass will just overfill. So, still, this girl was like really life-shattering, and I was still confused as to why. And I sort of didn't realize it. The feelings I had for this girl weren't the only thing that went away with the breakup. That wasn't the only thing I lost. The thing is, I also lost this vision of a future I had with her. It was so cemented in my head that I was going to spend forever with this girl because I was just that infatuated with her, that breaking up with her meant also the death of that. So I was also grieving over that. And I think that's why some people take breakups harder than the other, because if you're really invested in a person, you start like creating this long-lasting image of the person. And obviously losing that person means you also lose that. In the same breath, it was also interesting to think, because coming out of that relationship, was the first time I was ever single and didn't have anyone to pour emotions into. And what I mean by that is, breaking up with her and learning to be single made me realize that ever since I realized I liked girls, I've always been romantically obsessed with someone. I've always been chasing after girls. And this last girl was like such a long-lasting image in my head that I had no backup plan. Like there was no one else to move on to after that. So I don't know. For me, I feel like in the same way that, you know, like you can sort of crash or like things can come down. There's a lot to learn about yourself just by thinking about why you felt the way you did. So when you tell me, you know, like you feel like you've never loved anyone and your only love was your girlfriend, like that must have been really difficult. Because I imagine if you came from a home where you feel like you weren't comfortable enough to even show positive feelings towards the people who were meant to make you feel safe, the fact that someone came along and actually took the light inside you that was so dim and made it so bright only to have it taken away, that must have been like shattering. Like, must have been way worse than what I went through. Because like for some people, they've seen the light before, right? Some people know that they've been happy before, and usually that's what keeps you going, because you can tell yourself, not long ago I was in a place where I was happy. Like I was in a place where I felt safe. Like I want that back. And I think that's why people fight. People fight because even though they're down now, they know they've been happy before, and they know they're strong enough to do it. And I think that's why there's so much merit for the people who are depressed but keep on putting up a fight. You guys are heroes. Like, you guys are people who, although you might consider yourself worthless now, you've already won in the fact that you found a reason to fight. And that's that one day you did know you had it better. And so you deserve it better. So yeah, that's what I feel about what I read from you. I feel like for the first time, or at least one of the few times in your life, the light inside you, which is basically that happiness, that motivation, that excitement to live, was there. It was there, and you saw it, and you experienced it for the first time. And that must be such an exciting feeling that you held on to it with every ounce of your being. And you didn't want to let go. Because you had it. You had what you've always wanted in life. You were happy. And then one day it was gone. And you're back to square one. You lost what you were so excited to have. And I'm sorry for that, dude. I'm sorry for that. But yeah, don't worry, dude, we're here for you. And like, I think the safest place you can be is the point in your life where you are the reason you're happy, not someone else, alright? They say happiness is sort of built like a pyramid, like a monument, you know? They say happiness is like this big structure, this big tower, this big pyramid, but basically your happiness is at the top, and everything that makes you happy are the pillars holding it up, right? So think about what your pillars are, right? For a lot of people, they've got many pillars, right? They put their happiness in a lot of things. Their family, their friends, their values, games, like looking forward to things, the holiday they've got planned. They've got a lot of things keeping them going, so that if something suddenly goes away, there's other pillars protecting your happiness. It's keeping it up there. And granted, it's not as strong as it was. It hasn't crashed, right? You're just slightly less happy. But for you, it sounds like your relationship was the only thing holding you up. So you've got to find things to put your happiness in. You've got to figure out, what do I enjoy, and you've got to give value to that. So for me, I'm sure you guys can tell just by the way I talk, for me, the stream is one of the strongest pillars I have. Like this stream makes me feel so much love in my heart for just people in general and the people who watch me. Like you guys bring that sense of joy out for me. You guys make me feel like I'm the best version of me that I can be. Because you guys make me feel like I'm in an environment where I'm safe, where I can be honest and not judged. I can just talk. Like I have been for whatever, about some real talk. But yeah. What I'm trying to say is, I know things are bleak now, but they'll get better. Things will get better. If you haven't thrown in the towel yet, it means you haven't given up. It means you've already have your reason to fight. I don't need to tell you that. So yeah, that's my take on it. My depression hit me really hard because like all my love was in the girlfriend I had, and like also this future I had of us. And you know, like I didn't really know how to be myself after she was gone, and it was something I had to slowly learn. So for once, I decided to accept the fact that even if there was a girl ready, keep in mind, like, for me, I've always been chasing after girls. Even if there was a girl in front of me who was like, I want to be in a relationship with you, it probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Because for me, I needed to figure out how to love myself before I could do it with someone else. Because with the other girl, coming out of that relationship, I realized that things weren't as perfect as they were. Like, I was very blind to that, and I was just in this place where I was just really happy. But it wasn't an honest kind of happy, because I wasn't honest with myself about the way I felt. Because when I came out of it, I learned how to get that honesty, and although it hurt, it was something I had to accept. So yeah, I think coming out of that relationship, I sort of decided, you know what, I think it's a good idea to be single for a while. I think it's a good idea to be in a place where even if I lose the person I was trying to be with, I'll be okay. And as a result, that'll make the relationship you want to be in just that much better. Because suddenly you won't be tied down by the fear of being sad. You won't be tied down by the like notion of losing them. You'll be like, I can be as honest as I want in this relationship, and I'm not worried about if things don't work out, because I'll still be happy after it. And I think that's what makes the best relationship. So yeah, that's my advice to you. I'm sorry things are tough now, and I'm sorry you don't have like the same family I did where you have that sense of security. Some people's lives are tougher than each other, but I think what you've done now, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but you've come to me and you've opened up to me, and I think that takes a lot of courage, because I'm just some guy on the internet. But I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Like, that takes a lot of courage to just come to someone who you barely know and just be like, I'm sad and I need help. Because that's something I couldn't do when I was first sad. I was like, I'm sad, but I don't need help, I can do this. And I didn't do it. And it was really tough coming out of the depression.